Now, a record closing for both the Sensex and Nifty, taking the Indian markets to the 7th largest in the world, with a market cap of $2.69 trillion. In fact, it may soon take over France as well, whose market cap is a close $2.86 trillion. But let's put out the list for you to tell you how it really is looking like. US at $44 trillion, China at $11 trillion, Hong Kong $7 trillion, Japan 6.8, UK 3.2, France 2.8, India very close there at 2.6. Now, all this is happening in the backdrop of Sensex surging a whopping 11.31% in 6 straight sessions since the budget. In fact, the budget day itself, market jumped up about 2,000 points. And this is the maximum budget day increase in some 10 years or so. So what's really driving the market sentiments? And importantly, what does this market cap ranking tell us? Now, we have two brilliant economic minds to take us through that. We have Professor Apurva Javadekar. He is PhD Economics from Boston University and former Research Director at the CAFREL at the Reserve Bank of India. Also, Sanchita Mukherjee, Senior Financial Services Professional. Let me begin with Professor Apurva Javadekar there. First up, just tell us, Apurva, for our viewers, how significant is this ranking? And what does it tell us about the Indian economy and the stock market at the moment?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. So basically, what it really means is that India is a large economy, and correspondingly, our stock markets are also getting larger. But basically, does it tell us about the underlying growth in the economy? So at least it tells us that investors are expecting India to grow from here on. Otherwise, these valuations are not going to be justified. So as you rightly mentioned, 2,000-point rise after the budget just suggests that investors are very euphoric, and both domestic investors as well as international investors very euphoric about the new reforms announced by the government or the new budget direction that the government announced, which is more pro-capex, pro-capital expenditure rather than welfare. And that is, I think, investors think, and which is most of the economics evidence also would tell you that that is the right direction to take the country into a high growth trajectory. So I think current valuations are just reflecting investors' euphoria. But I think there are a couple other things one would want to look at. Is that valuations can flip. They can, for example, after COVID, they flipped by 30%, 40%, and then they are now we are at a new high of the Sensex and Nifty.
You're doing better than pre-COVID times, actually, on the stock market.
Yes, exactly. So what actually matters is whether your companies, firms, corporations in the country are productive. Are good companies getting banking capital, and are they investing enough in R&D? That's going to sustain the long-term growth. And those are some of the important aspects to look for. Because if you look at around the emerging markets, India stands as one of the most expensive market right now, with the trailing PE of roughly 38, which is one of the highest in the pack. And so to justify that kind of valuation, the earnings of the companies need to grow. And that's going to grow only when they are in the long term.
Right.
They're going to invest enough in the capital and their R&D and so on and so forth, and banking sector support them. So
right, and talking about the performance of the Indian companies, let's have that graphic up as well, which talks about the top 10 companies actually contributing to these figures. You've got Reliance Industries there, Tata Consultancy, HDFC Bank, Infosys. But if you look at the entire data of top 10, 6 of them actually from the banking sector. That's also a story worth telling. Let me bring in Sanchita on that one.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to being on the show. When we're talking about the market cap to GDP, I would like to address that point first. There are two aspects to it. I would like to explain it with two aspects, covering all possibilities of this show. So what is a market cap and what is the GDP? When we are talking about the market cap is to GDP being one of the 7th ranking, it does come across that we are very expensive. Valuations are expensive, but I disagree on this front. And why? Because in real terms, our market cap to GDP would be somewhere very close to 80%, right? And why would I say that? This comes at a time when there has been a pronounced GDP contraction, pre-COVID, right? We had entered a slowdown. Then we took the pandemic right on the chin.
Right, and as
So
you
the
speak,
GDP
let's get that GDP graphic also for our viewers to just make sense of what Sanchita is actually saying. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes. So we took a GDP outlier. We went into a technical recession for 2 quarters in which GDP was negative, right? So the market cap to GDP was always pronounced. Now that the GDP outlook has improved considerably, right? If you see the IMF forecasting, World Bank, RBI forecasting, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of the forecasts, World Bank, etc. for India, including the credit rating agencies, the GDP growth, if the denominator were to increase, then your market cap to GDP obviously normalizes to a more acceptable level of 80%. That's point number one. Then we talk about market capitalization, right? If you're telling me that the stock market has surged ahead, right, and say there's a company which is at a 30x valuation. Now this 30x valuation has been derived out of absolutely dismal corporate profitability and earnings numbers, right? Because we had already entered a slowdown even pre-COVID. So if you're attaching a multiple of 30x in absolute dismal conditions and with an economic outlook which has vastly improved now,
Yeah,
because
so
the
where is it
talks
coming
have
from?
come in, right? So if your multiple were to trade at 40x with a 2 crore profitability, that 30 crore market cap increases to an 80 crore market capitalization. That is the multiplier effect. So with a multiplier effect, your market cap to GDP is still very averagely valued and poised to do much better going forward. It would normalize at 100 going forward. If the earnings were to keep up with the earnings growth that we have been now witnessing last 2 quarters. I mean, the GST tax collection, the earning numbers that are coming out quarter on quarter now indicates this market cap to GDP will improve. Now, the third point that I would like to stress on, which we need to understand in context to this market cap to GDP ratio, is the debt to GDP ratio. If we are to compare the debt to GDP ratio, India actually stands one of the lowest amongst all of these parameters of all of these countries.
Right.
Which indicates that our growth.
And we've got that figure on the screen as well for people to take a sort of comparative figure on how India stands compared to the world in terms of debt versus the GDP. Yeah.
Yes, this is very important because look at the debt to GDP ratio, say for example, Japan, Canada, US, UK, Italy, all of them. So if I say today that US looks expensive to me vis-a-vis India, I would be right in assuming so because the debt to GDP ratio in US has been fueled by a lot of borrowing and balance sheet expansion which has been manifold.
Right.
In India, the growth is being fueled by the domestic consumption.
Correct.
And the fact that we do have a demographic dividend, which is consuming. And it is fueled by that. That is the expectation of the GDP growth and the improved outlook on corporate profitability, which will make our market cap to GDP sustainable.
Right. And in fact, it is a domestic consumption that actually gives us a hint of the times to come as well. And that's a very important factor. Sanchita, thank you so much for breaking it down so clearly for our viewers. I have last few minutes. I want to bring in closing comments from both of you. To Apurva there. Apurva, if you look at the ranking itself, now India was not very low. India was always number 8 as early as, I mean, not as long back as the January of 2021. So post-budget, we saw that little jump over there and we were expecting it to happen as well. But compare that to, say, China, which was number 5 in 2010. And look at China now, number 2. Of course, the gap is huge, but, that's also telling us a story.
I mean, you're right. China is another big economy with 17,000 per capita GDP in PPP terms. Their market capitalization is ought to be, multiple times that our market capitalization is. So perhaps it's a reflective of the fact that in China, companies are growing a little bit faster than Indian corporations, and they're contributing more to their GDP, and their economy seems to be a little bit more corporatized than ours, explaining some of the higher market cap they see. But as I said, I think, and what other co-panelists also said is absolutely important, that we need to invest in the right companies, and banking capital needs to go there. So our debt ratio can go up for corporates from here on, but provided we give debt to good companies. That's
all right. Apurva and Sanchita, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry I'm out of time completely, but we promise to return on this later in the show as well. So that was FYI today. We covered two very important issues for you. One, the nasal vaccine game changer completely, and the other about the Indian stock market. So much potential over here. Leave you with that thought. Thanks for joining us.